He was a great opposition figure. He could be compared to Nelson Mandela in South Africa or to Lech Walesa in Poland. I first met him actually on my very first trip to Korea in 1972. I interviewed him at his residence in Mapo-gu. He was very eloquent. He was speaking about all the injustices of the Park Chung-hee government and speaking very clearly about social problems, economic problems, cultural problems, and speaking quite frankly, actually. And I've interviewed him probably 6 times since then, 6 or 7 times since then, but I have both before and after his presidency and during his presidency only once. But I had a long relationship with him, actually. I interviewed Kim Dae-jung before he was kidnapped, and then after he got back. So I heard the whole story after he got back. He was a very talkative and loquacious and eloquent speaker. He had a lot of time in those days to talk to people, and he gave me a long interview in which he described his entire kidnapping episode.
괴한들에게 폭력으로 제압을 당하고 마취제를 풀어서 의식을 잃게 만들어가지고 자동차에 강제로 실려서 그래가지고 대개 오사카 지방으로 예상되는데 약 6시간 동안 자동차에서 눈을 가리고 입을 막힌 채로 끌려갔었습니다.
Well, the kidnapping was one of the really weirdest events in modern Korean history. He was in a hotel in Tokyo, and he was kidnapped from his room in the hotel. The U.S. was very upset about his kidnapping. The U.S. ambassador, Philip Habib, protested strongly to the Park Chung-hee government. There was concern that he would actually be drowned or else murdered after he got to South Korea. Instead, he went to his residence and placed under house arrest in his residence. And it was when he was under house arrest that I was still able to see him and got a lengthy interview from him. He went to the U.S., by the way. I interviewed him in the U.S. I was then with USA Today. I joined USA Today in 1982 and interviewed him he had a headquarters in Springfield, Virginia. I interviewed him in his headquarters before he returned to Korea. Well, I think he was a unique figure. I think he was an incredibly dynamic, hard-driving, hard-working figure. He had a lot to say, and he never seemed to tire. And he spoke frequently and spoke quite eloquently about his protests against the dictatorship, against Park Chung-hee, against Chun Doo-hwan. He was quite a courageous figure. He was elected president in 1997 and was inaugurated in 1998, early 1998. So when I met him in 72 to 97, I think that's about 25 years later, nobody expected that he would ever become president. He became president actually a number of years later, much to everyone's surprise. His election as president was widely greeted as proof of that South Korea democracy was really working, that a longtime opposition figure, a dissident figure who'd been on trial and jailed actually. So it was quite exciting for the international media to see him elected. It was sort of almost on a par with Nelson Mandela's rise in South Africa or Lech Walesa in Poland. He was hailed as a very successful, critical political figure, a major political figure on the world stage. He was an historic opposition figure, a dissident figure who succeeded in the end, as did Nelson Mandela, as did Walesa. And his success story was one of the great stories of Korean, if not world history.
군사독재 시대에 저희들이 피를 흘리면서 싸우고 수많은 사람이 죽을 때 많은 사람들이 방관했습니다. 그러나 민주주의가 되고 나니까 다 민주주의 덕택을 향유합니다. 우리는 결코 방심하지 말고 민주주의를 지켜나가야 할 것입니다.